You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 30 of the Battered MLS Fans podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, I got three other Battered fans. Let's introduce them one at a time. Let me start from my left to your right. Dion, the nerdy soccer guy. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Daniel. How are you?
I'm living the dream. I mean, Inter Miami plays in 3 days. Preseason's kicking off. Like, things are starting to cook. Let me go to Mr. Joe Shaw. I mean, I don't know. Do you still have a team remaining?
Well, hey, reporting live from FC Big Lots. Everything is going. Rush in and grab it. You're getting it at a steal. And don't worry, we're not shutting down. We're just going to relocate inside of Macy's. All of a sudden, now we're FC Toys R Us. But you know what? I'm doing fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're good. We're great.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to get talking about Dallas. I don't know what the hell's going on down there. And then Fabian Ranquel, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be on and talk MLS. Are you going to be in Vegas? Like, am I going to see you? Are we going to take like some daiquiri shots? Like, what are we doing?
Absolutely not. I've heard that the cheapest seat for nosebleed is $200.
Yeah, it was expensive at the start. It was about $90 at the start. So I'm going to be down there in Vegas. Hopefully my credential gets accepted, but we'll see.
You're just going just blindly. I hope I get in.
Well, it's 48 hours before the game is when they say it. So you have to buy tickets or flights way before, right? So
you're a wild man.
I might be outside of the stadium with those signs, be like, hey, I cover this team. Can you get me in? Like,
well, I will tell you that I was on a podcast yesterday as a guest, and a Club America podcast, and they said that their season started, but their B team started the first game of the season because they're taking their A team for the preseason game. So go figure. I've never heard such a thing in my life of any sport of any kind. They decided to prioritize the friendly over the very first regular season game. So they're going guns blazing. And Inter Miami, I don't know who they're going to throw out there. So there's a good chance that it might get ugly early, but I wouldn't pay to see that. So just to add to the price, I wouldn't pay to see that. But
I'm more or less excited about the atmosphere because Copa America in Vegas was a crazy time. You saw Brazil jerseys, Paraguay jerseys, you saw Uruguay, like just the whole atmosphere. You walk into Harrah's, you walk in, excuse me, not Harrah's, you walk into Luxor, you walk in anywhere and you saw jerseys. So I'm really excited to kind of see that. There's a good Argentinian food place that's near the Strip, so I'm going to probably go there and see if I can find any Miami fans or maybe see what orders are going out that day.
I any excuse to go to Vegas, I would take it if I was you. So absolutely. I've only been there once. And I was supposed to go to LA for 2 days after. I canceled the LA trip and I just stayed longer in Vegas. That's how much I enjoyed it. So there you go. Xavier, where can you watch the game? They're gonna show the game on Apple TV, TUDN also. And I forgot yesterday on the podcast, they mentioned where if you are in Mexico, they're also showing it for free. I can't remember, so I apologize if you're in Mexico. But yes, they have plenty of places to watch the game. But let's get on to the nitty gritty. I think the biggest news was the fact that we had some MLS rule changes. It came out yesterday, some rule changes that became official. One of them I thought was already going to happen, but I guess it wasn't official yet, and it was that you could change your designation from whether it be 3 DPs, 3 U22s, or 2 DPs, 4 U22s, that you could change it mid-season. I figured that was going to happen anyway. I got some pushback when I was talking about it last week, but now it's official. And it only makes sense, in my opinion, because if somebody becomes disgruntled from now to the summer and they decide, hey, I want to go play in the MLS, I highly doubt that the MLS would say, I'm sorry, this person 8 months ago said that they didn't want 3 DPs, so they can't get you. Like, I highly doubt that the MLS would put themselves in that position. So I figured that this would be an option. But there were some other rules. Fabian, let's start with you. What did you think of the rule changes? Any of them stand out to you as a big deal?
Yeah, honestly, the transfer for cash is a big deal because it almost helps out the teams that are that B tier type of team. So it's not going to help out the Miamis. It's not going to help out the Galaxies or the LAs, the New Yorks. It's going to help out the teams like the Orlandos, the Cincinnatis, the Columbuses, where they may lose their star player, but then they can backfill it with basically another player from around the league. So the way MLS grows is by making superstars and keeping superstars around. So this is a great opportunity to where you have a disgruntled superstar. Let's use Evander, for example. Everybody already knows Evander. Everybody already knows what Evander can do. Now Evander doesn't have to leave to Europe, or he doesn't have to leave to Brazil. He can now stay within MLS. And since the transfer fee is going to be with the salary, so let's say Evander makes $6 million this year, and then the transfer fee is about $10 million, and he has 2 years left on his contract. The way it's going to work, it's going to be $11 million per year, right? So that's why you're not going to see regular guys kind of move around too much, because that transfer fee is going to be included in their salary. So what you're going to see is U22s and DPs basically move around. So maybe Miami's not going to be using this to buy, but hey, who knows? If Facundo Farias wants to play and be a full-time starter, maybe Orlando or Miami throws or Portland throws an $8 million deal for Facundo Farias, and then they have a U22 player on their team.
Dion, what did you think of the rule changes?
I have to agree with Fabian. That one with the unlimited out of pocket, like I think that's going to be good to keep people like Evander in MLS. He's not happy there in Portland. Another MLS can swoop in, buy him with whatever money they have. But I also like the outgoing designated player loan. If you can get a team, if they you put them on loan, you can get a team to pay their salary. That opens up another DP spot. So I think that's also potentially a good thing too. I actually liked a good bit of the rule changes that they made. I think it's going to help out the league, and those like Fabian was saying, the B, those B tier teams, especially with that with out of pocket expenses.
And there's no expiration on the GAM now.
Yep.
Joe.
So here's the thing about Dallas lately is that we might not have players, but we're flushed with cam. I was trying to say gam and cash, right? It's a little Parks and Rec reference for those who get it. If you know, you know. So yeah, the lack of GAM expiration date felt like Dallas either knew something or was hoping for something with getting that much GAM right before that rule change was announced. So that made me a little bit easier knowing that we can just keep it. The thing that I would like us to do is also use it. So I will wait and reserve judgment on that. The other thing I was pretty excited about is the off-roster homegrown rule, right? So you've got, what is that? I'm looking at the details here. Off-roster homegrown players now eligible to appear in up to 6 MLS League matches, along with unlimited first-team appearances in cup competitions. For a team like Dallas, that was not the deepest last year, and we're still not necessarily the deepest right now. And we got injuries to key players throughout the year that did not allow us to get as much momentum as we needed to, along with other factors. It really helps that we can move up our players from North Texas SC and get them a lot of those reps in the cup competitions, and then just spread out that talent throughout the season through the different 6 games. And then we did just sign a whole host of homegrown players as well. So I know that Eric Quill, new manager, is going to definitely make use of that rule. But that one was the one that stood out the most to me, besides the ones I've already been mentioned.
Is that considered the Columbus rule?
Yes.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, that is the Columbus rule. And then one other rule that I used to call the Pizarro rule. Now you can, 2023 was the first time you can buy a player out during the season. It used to have to be before the season. Now it's during the season because Miami needed a way to get rid of Pizarro and his DP contract so they can bring Messi and Boosie. That was, to me, down here, it's known as the Pizarro rule. Now we can do that with 2 players. So they got something cooking for the summer. Those things don't just randomly happen. There's something cooking in the summer. Who knows what's happening? But now we can buy out, or the MLS, any team can buy out 2 contracts during the season. So something's coming. But those are the rule changes for now. I'm glad that we're moving in the direction where we're making changes as we go. I feel like we're not increasing the money, but we're definitely increasing the flexibility for teams to maneuver, which is a good thing. And now, I did want to jump into this one because this is something that I didn't think I would be talking about today, but I feel like it's absolutely necessary. Apparently, as rumor has it, there's a chance that Neymar is going to go and willingly freeze his nuts off in Chicago. I find this hard to believe. And I mean, I was talking to Fabian about it a little bit right before we got started. But before, actually, let me start with Dion. Because Dion, do you believe that there is any chance that Neymar ends up in Chicago?
No, absolutely not. It's all about getting that little bit of money. If they got the discovery rights of him, it's all about them making a little bit of cash off of this. There ain't no way he's going to Chicago. Not. I just can't see it. I think he'll end up in Miami, I believe.
Joe,
I agree with Dion that he'll end up in Miami. What was one of the roster rule changes that we just talked about? The trade for cash, right? Let's think about the fact that a team that has Neymar's discovery rights gets him and immediately flips him to Miami for a cash trade. I don't think some of these MLS teams are idiots, right? They want to maximize the benefits, and some of these roster rule benefits are definitely going to help Miami the most immediately. But I mean, let's look at it this way. I agree. Neymar to Chicago seems ridiculous unless Chicago's trying to get some cash out of it. Now, it said there were other MLS teams. Fabian, I don't know if you know of any of the other MLS teams, but I'm hoping one of them is Dallas. It's not Dallas. But could it be? It could be, but it's not Dallas.
I mean, obviously, it has to be New York and LA, right?
Yeah, let's be realistic.
Orlando.
I never actually thought about them signing Neymar and then flipping him for a cash trade with the new rule, which would be weird. That would be a crazy.
That would be the most MLS thing of all time,
right? Like I didn't even think about that because what if they can get 30 million off of Miami for him, right?
Right.
But Neymar would have to agree to that, and he wouldn't agree to it.
Like, he has such a love for the Jordan brand because he was Jordan for so long, and then he loved Michael Jordan in the city of Chicago that he was helped him out.
Well, it's funny because I was trying to build a connection in my head earlier today, and I was like, well, maybe.
Yeah. No, I think this is, like everybody said here, this is a discovery rights thing. I think they have to go out and say, we want Neymar so that they get a little bit of GAM from Miami. But Miami's like, hey, you can take Julian Gressel for him. We won't even want to give you any GAM for him. Because is he really going to go there? Does he want to be shoveling ice in snow? I don't think so. But that's the rumor. That's what everyone is thinking. There's no way Chicago is putting a formal, they probably put a formal one, but like a serious offer for Neymar and packaged together. Like they're not making presentations and bringing Neymar to Chi-Town, giving him deep dish pizza. I don't think so.
Get Greg Berhalter out there. We're changing the way Chicago fans feel about soccer. Step one, we get Neymar. He's got a 12-deck presentation. He's ready.
Sleeping giant Chicago Fire. All right.
Could you imagine Neymar playing under Triple G?
No, but I want to see it. I just want it to exist. I feel like Neymar goes to Chicago only if you tell him, hey, you're not going to play a minute for Chicago. You're going to Miami. This is the way we got to make it work.
I mean, it's definitely a weird one. But yeah, it has to be New York City FC or the LAFC, right? The other teams that are involved. Or the Galaxy, right? I mean,
and LAFC have an open DP slot, right, Fabian?
Yeah, exactly.
LAFC, I think, has 11 open spots all over their roster. I don't know what the hell they're doing either. We can get into them in a little bit also because
they're FC Dallas like halfway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. With Giroud, that's what they got. I have heard down here that Mas does want Neymar, and he feels pretty confident that he can get him here. So,
but let me tell you this: I don't think Apple allows Neymar to go to Chicago. I think this is something where business trumps the integrity of the league and trumps whatever little game playoff system we're playing here. Because if Neymar makes $40 million a year, let's say for Miami, imagine how much does an Apple iPhone commercial cost? Maybe like $20 to $40 million, right? Imagine Neymar playing on an iPhone and then turning around and winking. Apple's gonna want that, and I'm gonna tell you this because that's gonna pay for his whole salary, right? Neymar is literally baby Messi when it comes to hype and everything. So I don't think whoever the Apple exec is working on the MLS account, I think they're going straight to Tim Cook with this one and say, hey, MSN exclusively on Apple TV should be what we were showing the world, and there's no way the Chicago Fire step in the way of one of the biggest organizations of all time. So unfortunately, I think this is a situation where business is going to trump any integrity of this league.
Fun fact, before we move away from Neymar, MSN, everybody's hyped about them getting together. The last time they played a game together was July 29th, 2017. I was there. It was El Clásico here in Miami, Real Madrid versus Barcelona. That was the last time the MSN played together was actually in Miami.
Wow.
They played that game. They beat Real Madrid 3-2, and then Neymar left like a couple days after that. So there you go. The last time that the MSN played together was in Miami. All right. Now let's get on to some actual MLS news that we know is happening. San Jose. Is Bruce cooking? I'm kind of confused with what's going on right now. I'm not really sure how Arango ended up in San Jose. I'm not really sure why they decided that Joseph Martinez was a good idea. But I'm going to start with Fabian because that is your local team. So I feel like I need to go to you first. How are we feeling about what Bruce is cooking over there in San Jose?
Hey, let Bruce cook, because this is the first time San Jose Earthquake fans are excited for anything that's not the California. This is the first time they're excited when it's not a burrito. Like, we usually get excited for our burritos out here, like the orange sauce or the iguana's crazy long burrito or a California burrito. But oh man, are we excited for this Colombian? We get an MVP candidate player, and we get Josef Martinez, a guy who had 11 goals last year. I mean, I was always a big fan of Jeremy Abobasi, but he wasn't pushing the needle, unfortunately. So for San Jose to go out and get two strikers, and it was now, I mean, I can, fairly say that they're going to play with two strikers because Chicho Arango said, why not both of us are going to start? And then also Hernan Lopez said they were playing with two strikers. So this is something where
Bruce usually plays with two strikers, doesn't he?
Exactly. So that kind of confirmed it for me today with Espinoza on the left, Hernan in the midfield, and then maybe Pellegrino on the right. This San Jose attack, I hate to say it, but might be the best attack in the West. So we'll see. With no Ricky Puig, they might be the best attack on the West, right? So crazy times at San Jose. We might not see Messi because he might be in a yacht during the time he's supposed to come to San Jose. But he won't go. There's like 9 games in that month. There's no way
he'll go. He'll go visit his boy Joseph. They got close when he was down here.
Yeah, right. But at least they're gonna get to see Chicho Arango week in and week out. And man, oh man, I don't know if RSL's having a bad off season or they're just like blowing it up. But they let Chicho Arango go for way too cheap, in my opinion.
Yeah. When Brandon Vasquez is getting 10 mil, I'm not sure. They must have not even bothered to figure out if Chicho was available. It must have been like, what's the point of even contacting them?
Yeah, you get Austin. If you're Austin, you could have got a Chicho Arango at 1/5 the price or 1/10 the price. Like, man, you're really gonna like Vasquez.
If you're LAFC, I would have brought him back.
Right.
LAFC ended up with San Jose's. I can't even pronounce the guy's name.
Abobasi.
And now they have to go watch Chicho go up to San Jose. That's rough. Dia.
I think LAFC is holding off their DP slots for Griezmann, and I think they're really blowing it up for that. Like, they're really blowing it up for that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it'll work out in the long run for sure. Dion, what did you think about what's going on over there in the West Coast?
Well, so I'm a huge Joseph Martinez fan. I've been since he came into the league, so I'm excited to see him at San Jose. 2 years ago, it was all over my channel. I was on the train for San Jose to make the playoffs. I'm on it this year too. I can't believe that Arango went there. What is RSL doing? Why would they do that? I have no idea. But at the same time, it does bring me to, like, they let him go so cheap. Like, is he a locker room problem? We've never heard it. I don't think it's ever been reported or anything, but is he a locker room problem? Because he's not really, like, looking at where he's been, he doesn't really stay long places. Like, I mean, his Pachuca, like, it was there like 6 months, 5 months, something like that. He was there. So is he a locker room problem? That it was my only thing. And then having him and Joseph, because we know Joseph is also kind of a big personality. He might have settled down now because he's a little bit older. But is he a person like, is he a big personality also, and having them both, is that going to cause issues? But I'm excited for him. I want them to do well. I could see them being a top 5 team in the West.
I can tell you that Joseph had no problems in Miami that I know of. There were no issues with him in the locker room in Miami. And Chicho, nobody ever really found out why Chicho got suspended from the All-Star game this year, right?
He said a word.
That was it?
A word that they say a lot in Colombia.
There's a lot of there's a lot of words that we say that are inappropriate over there. Some are STDs that we call people, and people are like, "What?" Yeah, hey, look it up. It's pretty disgusting, but that's us. Joe.
Yeah, I think. Look, Bruce Arena is a legend of the coaching game, right? He understands MLS. He understands what he likes. He understands how to get players for the deals he wants. I'm not really sure what RSL is doing. I mean, they did a trade with Dallas. It was one of the few trades that I wasn't too mad about. We got Anderson Julio for Sam Junqua. That was a great swap. And I'm not really sure why RSL was pretty keen. I like Sam Junqua, but that was an interesting trade to swap a right winger for a left back. But you know, it is what it is. And then Chicho ends up in San Jose. I'm like, okay, I think RSL just decided they're just gonna, you know, flip the table over and start from scratch. But yeah, I think Bruce is definitely cooking.
I see what you did there, Joe.
Yeah. There we go. And I think Bruce knows what he's doing, right? And I think San Jose is probably going to be definitely top 3, but maybe even pushing to top 1 or top 2 if they get enough momentum.
Well, Bruce is one of those coaches that has been able to stay consistently. He's done consistently well throughout his tenure in MLS because he's been here forever, and no matter where he goes, he has success. So just based off of that, you would feel that San Jose should improve. Fabian, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and this is a big take, but I already think the Bruce Arena project is a success already. Okay. Not even 1 minute on the pitch. This is already a success. We got a brand new gate. All right. We got a nice gate. We have a press conference room. We have facilities that other coaches didn't get for us because the biggest enemy in San Jose is Fisher, is the owner. So if you can get the owner to actually make this club a legit club and you get the fan base excited for games again, just like how Bruce has done with getting Chicho Arango and Josef, I think you've already won. The days of seeing 9,000 fans at the Quakes game is gone. I think you're easily packing that stadium out, maybe selling out 80% of those games. So I'm excited for the Quakes this year, and I think a lot of people in the Bay Area are too. The best way of kind of saying – there's a lot of people in the Bay that aren't really soccer fans, so the best way I was kind of explaining it to people was like, hey, we're getting like Lamar Jackson and we're getting Aaron Rodgers, a guy who was MVP, and we're getting a guy who – fights for MVP every season. So this is something that it is a big deal. So like you guys should watch Quakes games. And then we're already keeping Espinoza and Hernan Lopez too. So don't forget about that.
But Chicho, I see more like a Sam Darnold. Like he started off hot, but he fell off hard the second half of the year.
Didn't RSL get rid of his didn't RSL get rid of his bro about halfway through? Is that like someone fact check me? Like RSL made a big move and Chicho was playing well and it coincided with that move.
Yeah, he didn't start their last playoff game. So that was a big indication that his kind of writing was on the wall.
Time was gone, yeah.
Yeah. So hey man, he's played here many times. He played here when he was with Pachuca. So I don't know. Maybe this is a situation where there's rumors about him being a locker room cancer or things like that, but dude, throw him in a whole pile of South Americans. I don't think he cannot be happy. I mean, Utah is kind of a bleak place compared to San Jose, to be honest.
That is true. Look, you say Marica to Jose Joseph, he's not going to care, you know?
He's going to laugh it off.
He's going to laugh it off.
Is that the guy who we were going with is my buddy? So
yeah, we're good. We're good. All right. And move Dion, Atlanta, Chris Henderson masterclass. And then he starts off by throwing like $1 billion for Latte or from Middlesbrough. Like, what is going on in Atlanta? I know we heard the Almiron news, which was, I guess, is exciting, right? He might be coming back.
Absolutely.
But what's going on with putting all your money on somebody that, you know, I guess that he's doing well in the championship, but
yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, I like him over, you know,
Chicho.
And no.
Yeah, see that's why this is a crazy move.
Yeah.
What about
Edward? Go ahead.
What about over Swiderski? Like, what if you bought Swiderski for $3 million?
I don't know. I like Swiderski has been to me inconsistent, in my opinion, and I just don't know. I don't know if he would fit in the offense of how, because Atlanta's going to push forward. I mean, if you get Almiron, you have Moranchuk, who, in my opinion, I would play Moranchuk in the middle, Almiron out wide with Sabo on the other side. Because Moranchuk, his big thing is through balls. He's really good with through balls. So hit those two on the wing. I mean, Swiderski with the height would be nice for crosses, maybe. But Lath, I guess, is also, pretty tall. I don't know. But, I mean, he has 10 goals this season for the championship for Middlesbrough. But I like, out of the three strikers that I've heard, him, Edward, and I like Edward. I liked when he played for Celtic, because that was – I watched Celtic, and he played well for them, but he hasn't done anything since he's got to move. So Lath is definitely the best, option at that point, but I don't know if he's worth the amount of money that we're dishing out for him.
Well, John Rollins saying that Lai's the top championship striker. He can do very well in MLS. His size and power is dangerous.
I think he can do well, but 18 million in South America gets you any single player. So that's the craziest part.
Yeah, I think the price. Yeah, I think that it'll be good, but yeah, the price tag, like that, I think that's a hefty price tag. But I think that he could succeed here and score as well as he is. I mean, having two really good passers like Almiron, if he does end up signing with Atlanta, and Moranchuk, I mean, he's gonna get the ball a lot. It's gonna get fed to him, So.
And I know the cliche, right? We shouldn't care what the owners spend, right? Because it's not our money. Yeah. But say what you want, that price tag is going to follow him. And if he's not producing, that number is going to get brought up. So that's a lot of pressure to put on him to be the finisher on that offense. But like you said, Almiron will make life easier. You got Saba time over there on. I'm sure it'll be fine. I just don't know if it's worth that money. Joe, what do you think about Atlanta just dishing out the dough? Your boy Chris Henderson. And for those that don't know, Joe Shaw is Chris Henderson's godfather.
You're not supposed to say that on the air, but yes, here's the thing, right? Like, let Chris cook, but also Chris and Garth together. I don't want to bet against the Atlanta house here. Like, it feels like a lot of money. It's a lot of money to the FC Dallas guy over here, where we rub two nickels together to get a homegrown, but.
Well, can I say one thing, Joe, real quick? This is my thing with Garth and Chris. We've never been able to see what they could do with money.
Yeah.
Seattle, they didn't have money. Chris Henderson in Miami never had money because he was under sanctions. And when we finally got out of the sanctions, Messi came, and it's like, sorry, Chris, we don't want to know what you want to do, because now it's all what Messi and Tata want. So this is the first time they have money to spend. And some people don't know what to do when they have a lot of money. And this might be example number one. It's like, oh, we got money to spend. Let's throw 18 million on this guy. That's all I'm thinking. I don't know. How are they going to do with this money?
No, I don't disagree with that take. I do think, though, that with Chris and Garth, they probably know the type of roster. Yeah, Seattle did have they had some money. They had some money. RSL definitely didn't have any money. I know Chris wasn't there, but Garth was, right?
2.0 money.
Yes, yeah. There you go. But I do think that Chris and Garth know the type of offensive construction they want. That's why you see Almiron in talks, right? And that's why they're bringing over Lath, bringing him over, right? They know what they want, and maybe they're like, look, we might have to overpay now, but this isn't going to be the way it is forever. But I think they're like, in the same way Bruce Arena's got a plan, they've got a plan, and they're ready to just hit the road day one, 3 points in the pocket. That's what they want. But I agree. I think that price tag is going to follow the player around, regardless of whether he does well or not.
I mean, I've also heard that they're willing to spend like 20 mil for each DP in Atlanta.
Look, if they got money.
I mean, do.
You got Home Depot money.
Yeah. But I don't know. 18 mil, that's a lot. But like you said, up front, maybe it's worth it. We'll see.
They could always loan him out, right? Part of the new roster rules. They could loan him out, free up a DP spot, try it again, spin the wheel of fortune.
What do you think about what John Paul's saying here? They should just sell Brad.
Brad Guzan?
Yeah, I guess.
This guy's already working 4 jobs to justify the salary, yeah?
No, look, his value will never be higher after his performance against Miami. If you're going to sell high, because he can't perform like that again.
No.
Fabian, what do you think about Almiron possibly coming back to Atlanta? Because we thought that if he came back, he was going to come back to Charlotte. All of a sudden, Charlotte does them a service and says, go ahead, give us a little dough, and you can take Almiron back.
Yeah, this is Charlotte's move. I mean, they did the same thing with Royce, right? So,
yeah,
hey, they can keep on using that 400K GAM or whatever they get from each discovery right kind of move. But no, I this is like Neymar. I never thought I would see Almiron in different colors. Like, this is something where Atlanta's going to want to get their guy. They kind of kept it cool. They were like, oh, yeah, sure, sign him. You know, no big deal. He's not even that good anymore. But then all of a sudden, now they want him. So, no, this is another situation where I never thought I would see Miggy in a different kind of jersey.
Dion, do you really think how are you feeling about Atlanta so far in the offseason? Because you still need a left back.
No, Amador. He's there. He's the one that got the assist with that last goal on Miami.
Yeah, I remember now. Okay,
but
right, so you guys are pretty set.
I mean, I mean, Lennon's out for a little bit. I don't know.
He's still not back?
Yeah, his shoulder, man. I don't know if he'll be back. I don't know what point in time. I haven't really heard anything. But I mean, I think that we're pretty set for the most part.
Just need that striker.
We just need a striker, man. I'm tired of like last season we struggled with scoring, and yeah, if we can get a good striker in,
Cruz Azul has a good striker.
What was that?
Cruz Azul has a good striker.
Yeah, they do. They do. I hated that I don't know what happened there. I hated that he was done with Atlanta, but because I liked him at Celtic.
Why was he done though? It was just random. He just randomly was done.
I guess.
Yeah. I think he was more done with the league. I think he thought it wasn't the best league.
Got it. Well, that sucks. But that it is what it is. Dallas. Moving on down. Joe, liquidation sale down in Dallas. What's going on? Do you have any idea what the plan is there? Because you guys, Freire is gone, and Freire.
Jesus.
Wow, I'm blanking.
Jesus Freire, we got Paul Arriola, Alan Velasco was gone, Sam Junk was gone. Who knows who's next? Asa Iramande is still in discussions. We don't even know if he's going to be there. He's probably going to end up in Austin with his boy Nico Estevez, right? He's joining the Vasquez hype train with Brandon down there, going to feed him all of those passes. I don't know what's happening. What I do know is Eric Quill is a great coaching hire. So Eric Quill played for Dallas back in 2004. And coach North Texas SC when it was the inaugural year, was the coach of Ricardo Pepi, helped discover him, helped discover Bernard Comungo, helped win the USL League One title, was at New Mexico United, wanted the FC Dallas coaching job before he went to New Mexico United, didn't get it. Now is back and is ready to make it his team. The problem that I see is he's a great coach that identifies young talent and helps move them along, which is what our owners, the Hunts, love, which is what is our bread and butter. We love to get homegrowns and flip them for a profit. I didn't really want a homegrown flipping for a profit year. I was hoping for like some more silverware in the cabinet. It's getting a little bare. But right now, what we're doing is we're trading off a lot of our big salary pieces and signing homegrowns. That's what we're doing.
I mean, that's why you guys had Lucci for so long.
We did, but Lucci it wasn't cutting it. I think part of it was COVID.
Saying because the development, right? That was his bread and butter.
Yeah, so going back, I don't want to get too in the weeds, right? But Oscar Pareja, who Papi, right, in Orlando, he was the coach for Dallas for a while. And before that, he was the head of the youth development, the academy. So he gets that. Lucci gets the academy. Papi moves on. Lucci comes in, right? That's supposed to be the cycle. Eric Quill, coaching development, right? So that's the idea of FC Dallas. So we're kind of back to our roots. But it's real frustrating. But what we do have, right? We do have Anderson Julio that we picked up. We do have Leo Chu, who we picked up from Seattle. So those wing pickups are great. And it looks like to us, Eric Quill is really going all in on Musa with the big dog Logan Farrington behind him. We got 2 good strikers. We got 2 wings. Midfield, the center of the midfield is pretty good. We still got Leggett, Show, who we got on loan, did well for us last year. I'm not too strong about the attacking midfield spot, and our defensive depth is very weak at best. But if we can hold on to Iramande, I feel better. And if Martin Paz doesn't get a big money transfer when Indonesia qualifies for the World Cup, then we'll be good. But yeah.
So you don't think Musa's moving along?
No.
Because I know they put a price tag on him, and people
they did
thought
put a
that
price tag on him,
and it was less than what Atlanta's gonna give Latte.
Maybe Chris Henderson should have called FC Dallas if he wanted to on the cheap.
So
no, I don't think
moving along.
Yeah, no. So I think so I'll never say never is my thought, right? Like never say never about anything. But I think Musa doesn't move unless they really decide we're just going to completely rebuild. We're not going after anything this year. That's what that intent would show me if they sell Musa. By the fact that they're keeping Musa, they've got Leo Chu and Anderson Julio. That tells me, and they're still in discussions with Iramande. That tells me that they are mostly rebuilding with an eye towards maybe getting back in the playoffs as a bar that they want to hit, and then a deep cup run wherever they end up participating.
Well, I mean, they'll probably be in the Open Cup, right? You love the Open Cup.
I do love the Open Cup. We're 2-time winners of the Open Cup. I was at the 2016 final when we lifted it. It was awesome.
Hey, what is it called? The Lamar Hunt.
That's right. That's right.
They gotta change the name of these trophies. Like the fact that Messi was holding up the Landon Donovan trophy, I was like, come on, man.
Landon Donovan's a legend in MLS.
MVP. Hey, this is another topic for another day, but it should be the Wondolowski Golden Boot.
Well, okay, and it should be the Pio Valderrama MVP trophy.
The
first winner. That's it. He was the first winner. Give it to him. And the trophy should just have like wild hair.
Yes, on the top of it. I will co-sign that only if it also moves, right? Like the hair.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There we go. How more MLS could you be than that?
Right.
Give it a gimmick trophy. Give me a gimmick trophy. All right. Inter Miami. They're getting a little deeper. Well, Miami was the Supporter Shield winner, 74 points, most in MLS history. And they went ahead and they seem to have gotten a little stronger. They beefed up their defensive line with somebody that Fabian's probably familiar with, Maxi Falcon, played for Colo Colo. He is an undersigned center back, but he's one of those guys that is he plays very aggressively, puts his body on the line if necessary. So I think that he's going to give us the back line some toughness. You have I'm blanking Telasco Segovia, which is going to be the Diego Gomez replacement, because that was the worry that Inter Miami lost Diego Gomez, which was that box-to-box. Telasco Segovia, Venezuelan, coming from Portugal and Casapia. He is supposed to be that replacement. From everything we've heard, supposed to be really good. So that is the replacement. And they beefed up out on the wings. They brought in Fafa Picot, which is probably going to be the backup. They got a young guy from Argentina, Tadeo Allende. The Inter Miami was a really good squad last year, and it looks like they've just gotten better. So it's curious to see how it plays out, right? Because even with the good squad, they didn't really get any trophies. I don't consider the Supporter Shield trophy, but we'll see. But it looks like they've beefed up. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on what Miami's been doing, because I feel like more teams need to be moving the way that Miami's been moving recently. Fabian, I know you keep an eye on Miami. What do you think about Miami's moves?
Yeah, I know. I really like Fafa, to be honest. Drinks mate. I had him on my show, the Mate and Soccer show, when I used to do it back in the day. We used to talk mate. And he'll fit right into that locker room. Dude speaks 8 languages. I always see him being called Mr. Worldwide because he knows a lot of languages, and he's a chameleon. He could really fit in any locker room. So if it's on a cheap deal, I really like that one. I liked your guys' podcast on the battered herons of Segovia. I thought that was great insight. The guest, it's crossing my mind, but the guest you had on was talking about how he's like Gomez, but a little saucier. So I thought that was a pretty good insight on that. But hey, you're Miami. if you're going to find a loophole, you're going to find it, right? So if Facundo Farias leaves on a loan and then you can bring in a U22 player and then also have an open slot, you're going to do it, right? So it's something that it's interesting to see. I like Jorge Mas and everything he's doing by pushing the boundaries. That's what we need in MLS. So go get Neymar. But yes, all these roster moves are good ones. Falcon is a nice one. You're not going to see Toto Aviles, excuse me, was a player that maybe could have used a little bit of guidance in that back line. So I think Falcon being like a Lugano type player, if you guys have watched Uruguay back in the day, kind of like a short Lugano, I think. He has a lot of grit and a lot of temper. So I would say Aviles might need that.
And he has Mascherano coaching him up.
Right. So I'm excited. I think Falcon slots into that spot, not Aviles' spot. So it's going to be those two together. So, yeah, no. I think it's going to be a good season for Miami. I just need to see if Messi's going to be traveling this season or if he's just going to stay in Miami every game, so we'll see.
A lot of Inter Miami fans were worried because Falcon is supposed to be a very aggressive player, right? So you associate aggressive with yellow cards. Toto Aviles already led the league in yellow cards last year. So we went in and we checked, and in 22 games, Falcon only has 5 yellow cards. So it looks like he's a smart, aggressive player. He picks his spots. So hopefully he can teach Toto some of that because Toto's only 20 years old. So Dion, you're an Atlanta fan. Are you shitting your pants? Because we're going to kick that ass.
I mean, yeah, you guys should definitely have another season like you did last season. Your guys' pickups, I don't know too much about them. I will say that right now. I don't know too much about them. But I think, you guys are already a strong team. If you're saying that the replacement for Gomez is like him and a little bit saucier, I think you guys with your pickups, you're going to be just as good, if not better, than what you were last year. And it's kind of scary.
And Davi saying ATL got Ronnie. Look, Ronnie is what I can tell you, because I used to follow along with NYCFC. You're gonna have fun watching him because he wants to win his games 5-3. Like he wants to attack. It's gonna be entertaining. So if Atlanta gets Latte for 20 million, you're gonna have fun watching him score a lot of goals or try to score a lot of goals. So for sure, I think that you guys are gonna have fun watching this year. Hopefully, Almiron comes back too.
Yeah, I mean, I like the. I always like that. I think it's a rival. I think that Miami and
that's
Atlanta
what's become.
And
Absolutely.
Like especially last year with the way that the season ended, it's going to be ramped up, like you said earlier. I don't know if it was before we started the podcast or if it was right at the beginning, but yeah, it's going to ramp up this year. I'm excited to see that matchup.
Since Messi's arrived, nobody's gotten more points off of Miami than Atlanta. So there you go.
Thank you.
NYCFC's right there also, just because we seem to draw with them all the time. Joe. I don't know where I got Joe from. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all good. I think Miami's going to have a great 6 months. Hot take here, right? I feel like they're building the Club World Cup. After that, I think people kind of check out. I don't know who's checking out. I don't know if Messi's leaving, right? I don't know if he's going to go on loan via the new roster rules somewhere.
Oh, God. Don't.
Right?
Oh, my God.
But who knows?
What are we doing?
Here's the thing. Joe? Look, if you look, we're not talking about Seattle. I hate talking about Seattle. But if we look at the way Seattle's building, they're clearly building to go all in as much as they can on the Club World Cup, right? They got some depth pieces. They got some good attackers. I don't love that they got Paul Arriola and Jesus Ferreira, but they're trying to build that out, that attacking core. I feel like Miami is addressing the holes that they need to address. They're building everything up. They're getting ready to make a run because the Club World Cup is a huge stage. And if these players get seen, they can go, right? Then what happens in Miami after that? We'll see. That's my take. I feel like 6 months is great.
The only player I envision leaving Miami at some point, maybe in the summer, probably at the end of next year, kind of like Diego Gomez, is Redondo. Sure. Redondo is honestly the only one that I could see after this year heading over to Europe. I don't see that happening with anybody else as of right now. I mean, it could, obviously. And Davey was fact checking me in the interview. He said he'd rather win 5-4 than 1-0. Look, I love a coach like that. That's going to be a fun watch right there in Atlanta. And Soccer Daddy says, Joe, drink some water.
I am. I'm drinking the FC Dallas water. All of the regular liquid got sold along with Jesus Ferreira to Seattle. All I got's water. So, maybe there's something not right there.
You know what? You brought it up, Joe, and I'm curious because I know it's only Seattle and Miami in the Club World Cup, but I'm curious. Fabian, I'll start with you. What do you think about the Club World Cup? Because I think it's going to be a dud. I think they're building it up, but I honestly think it's going to be a dud. I do. I think in Europe, look, I'm blanking on Real Madrid president's name. No, Real Madrid wanted out of the tournament. They don't want to be a part of it. I think European clubs are looking at this and they're not taking it seriously. Like, I think we just got done with the full season. Like, hypothetically, let's say Real Madrid and Bayern Munich both make it to the final of the Champions League. That gets played, the first week of June? You think that after a full season of football, a week later, they're like, all right, we just won the Champions League or we just lost the Champions League. Now let's go gear up and play in the Club World Cup. They do that for international tournaments, but they don't care about playing for their club extra time. And if I'm a free agent in the summer, I'm definitely not putting my body on the line for this random tournament when it's a club tournament. I'm going to make sure I'm healthy to get transferred. I really think that people are not going to take it as seriously as we want them to.
I think you're going to see a lot of B team guys. So like guys that are on the benches for Real Madrid and things like that.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's going to make it a fun tournament because it's not going to just be Real Madrid just
more competitive.
Right. So it is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be better than what it was, though. I think it's actually going to be something that Americans might want to watch. I think it's something that the American sports fan, remember, that's our target audience. It's not soccer fans. It's the American sports fan, might turn on if they hear World Cup in the name.
Maybe. I don't know. If you go ahead and you put, I don't know, where are they playing some of these games? Are they playing them? I'm assuming Houston's going to be a destination because they usually play in Houston. Let's say you put in Houston and you put, I don't know, Al Hilal versus Palmeiras. Do you really think that that's going to sell out in Houston? Like,
yes.
No.
No.
Fabian and I have different opinions about the sellout, but we have the same opinion about the effect on the mass American fan, right? Like, I think people aren't going to remember some of the lesser known teams that we're having trouble remembering right now, right? What they're going to remember is the big name teams that are coming not to play in a friendly, but to play in a competition. That's what it's going to be hyped over and over and over. First of its kind, right?
And Isaac is saying that
okay.
Isaac's saying that it's massive and the European clubs don't care, but everybody all the other continents will. And I agree. Yeah. I think that the other continents might care.
Sure.
But when we're talking about the biggest name clubs, they're all in Europe. Like, as much as it's true that's where they all are. Dion, let me guess, you're a Chelsea fan. I don't know. I just threw it out there. You just strike me as a Chelsea fan.
I watched him when Christian played for him, but that's just because Christian played for him.
All right.
But I think I would love to see the Club World Cup be a huge thing. I don't know. I like seeing, I'm going to see where MLS ranks. I know that it's not the best, but I want to see what we rank to the world. With teams. Do I think Seattle's the best team to go into it right now? I don't know. But no. I don't think it's going to be as successful as we think we want it to be, just because of things like Real Madrid and those teams aren't going to bring their best players. So, people are thinking, oh, well, we're going to get to see Mbappe or Jude and all that. And those guys aren't really going to come. And then once they find out, it's like they're going to be turned off on it.
No, I think this is a situation where we're gonna get the American sports fan to be like, wait, this is a World Cup and Messi's on our team?
Yeah.
Let's watch Miami. Oh my God. Yeah, let's go soccer. Yeah, World Cup.
I love the frat bro accent. Yeah. You just
that's fantastic.
Well, you know what? I usually watch the Longhorns on every Saturday, but now we got Messi for USA. Let's go.
Hook 'em horns.
Well, look, I'll tell you right now,
Let's go.
MLS fans aren't going to be rooting for Miami. I feel pretty confident in saying that.
But I think FIFA is not going for the MLS fan. I think they're going for the American sports fan.
I don't think it'll hit, man. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it'll hit.
Here's the thing. I agree with Fabian that we're gonna get for the bigger name clubs, right? We're gonna be guys and bench warmers for all the group games.
Yes.
When it starts progressing, I feel you're gonna see the top tier guys come because they've been on vacation in the United States of America, gambling in Vegas, on the beaches in Miami, wherever you want them to be, right? No one's going to turn that down because that's what they're going to do anyways. They're going to get a bonus. They're going to get incentives to play in these knockout rounds. And there is, the cash prize of winning. So yes, that's fine. Okay. But the first Leagues Cup had Messi and it was interesting. So here we go. Right. I think, look, I'm 100% speaking selfishly. As a kid, I always wanted a World Cup, 32 teams that was just clubs where my team, which is not in this one, but theoretically, right, could play Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Arsenal. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see where we ranked, and I wanted to see where we could go. So to have it and have it expanded from the 7-club tournament that it's been forever, I'm all in. I don't care if I'm the only fan in the stadium. It's a success to me, and I know that's completely biased and not a real measurement of success, but who the fuck cares? I'm just excited.
John Rollins said that it's basically the Leagues Cup of the world. I like that take. I don't know if I would go that far.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. Leagues Cup is such a cool tournament.
I like the Leagues Cup too. I'm with you on that one. I'm a Leagues Cup defender, but I can't get hyped when I know that not all the clubs are taking it seriously. And with that said, if Inter Miami somehow makes it to the final, I'm still going to celebrate and be happy about it, obviously, and all that other stuff. But it's just not as fun when I know that they're not going to take it seriously. But the cool part is that I think a team like Palmeiras, which plays Inter Miami in the group stage, I think they will take it seriously. And I forget who else we have. We have a Saudi team.
Egyptian team, right?
And yeah, we have a Saudi team. I forget who else. But I do think that those teams will take it seriously, and I think it is going to be fun in that aspect. But the biggest clubs in the world, I do not think they will, and I think that takes a little bit away from it. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe they will. And Porto, thank you, David.
Porto, yeah,
Porto. There we go.
Daniel, I'll tell you right now, this is the only time, but I will be cheering for Inter Miami.
There we go.
And Seattle in this because I want, just like Joe was saying, you want to see what. How America teams do against the rest of the world. So, yes, I will be cheering for both MLS teams in this tournament. But when it comes to MLS regular season,
Miami, though. Look, Seattle, they fucked Seattle with that.
Well, not really. If they're not going to take it seriously in the group round, right? They might get the B teams.
I let these B teams smack up Seattle.
We'll find out.
Jesus Ferreira, the Pirate of the Caribbean. He's coming for PSG.
Look, and by the time they play against PSG, John Duran might be playing out there. Who knows? Because I'm hearing that PSG is looking to get the MLS player John Duran. So
former Chicago Fire, future home of Neymar, you could say.
Yeah, and they're going to use that cash, the GAM that they get from that deal on a sell-on to go get Neymar.
There it is.
Yeah, I wish John Duran would have made more of a mark while in the MLS though. Because
he was just quietly because the Chicago market,
because Chicago sucks, right?
Yeah.
Because if we tell people like, "Oh, John Duran, former MLS player," everybody's like, "Who?" and that's I really think it's now the reason I always knew about him is because my co-host on Battered Herons, his last name is Duran, so he looks for anybody named Duran. It's like, oh, that's my guy. So and then he was Colombian, so it was easier to know about him.
That was before the Apple deal, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why, right?
Yeah, well, that also plays a part of it for sure. Yeah. Shout out to the Apple deal that a lot of people criticize, but I actually like.
Yeah, well, that's one scenario where we don't even know, or a lot of people didn't know who Duran was, right? So you know who the stars are now.
And also now we got a scattered schedule, so now you're going to be able to watch more games with your Apple TV subscription. So there you go. And yes, if David's asking, absolutely. This is a shirt. So
you buried the lead there.
I know you couldn't see it, right? Because
there it is.
Right there.
Duran. There it is.
All right. And then last but not least, last topic, and it's just a broad topic. Are there any transfers that we haven't spoken about that you think kind of stand out and that we should just address before we head out of here?
Zaha to Charlotte.
Oh, okay, Dion.
I was just saying Zaha to Charlotte.
Zaha. Yeah, that was today.
I think, that was today. I saw that. I think that's a good pickup for them, and I think that plays a role into why they allowed Atlanta to talk to Almiron, because they're all not all in, but they're closer to a deal with Zaha, and I like that for them. I do.
Charlotte needs something on the offensive end because, I mean, their defense was great, but the attack was. I think Fabian.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, wherever Evander lands is interesting, right? Orlando, New York, that one's interesting to me. I need to find out where he goes.
What do you think about? And we're just talking shit because we like to piss off Ohio fans. But what do you think about the possibility of Lucho getting bought out and coming to Miami?
So this is what I was talking about literally on a podcast before this. You have 2 buyouts.
Yeah.
You go ahead and go get Lucho. You buy him out, and then you get Neymar. And if Neymar happens, it happens, right? You buy out Lucho.
Lucho wants to go back to Argentina anyway. We send him on his way.
Right.
I mean, we don't think it's going to happen. We haven't heard anything. But Cincinnati fans seem to be annoyed when we bring it up, so we like to bring it up on Twitter often. Joe, any moves that we should address before we head out of here?
Yeah, Diego Pepe's going to take over FC Dallas. He just signed from North Texas SC, so I'm excited. No, that's not the real answer. Although if it is, pull this clip in a couple years because you heard it here first. No, I'm interested in this move. We kind of talked on it for a half a second, but I'm interested in this move because of what it signals as a larger intention. Brandon Vasquez to Austin FC, because of the fact that he talked about going to Poch directly and asking him about the move to Austin before he signed with Austin. Right, asking, am I hurting my USMNT chances by moving to Austin? Right, and Poch saying, no, my priority is, are you playing? Are you scoring? Are you getting reps? And the fact that Poch told him that, he took the move. I'm curious to watch Brandon's trajectory in Austin through this season, and then how it translates into future call-ups, right, for both USMNT and also similar players that might make a move after this to come back into MLS to get reps, and then will they show back up on the radar? So that move, because of what it could signify for the USMNT,
because the implications in the future,
right?
And Davey throws one in here. Jovan, what was his name? Mitrovic or one of those. Apparently, he regrets coming to the MLS. And he wants to be loaned out.
He was losing a starting job, right? He lost a starting job, and then basically, I get that.
He's only 19, but I didn't know that he was a record signing. At least that's what Davey 95 said. He was a record signing. That I wasn't aware of. So that's a blow.
Mr. Krabs has a good shout out. I completely forgot about that. Luca De La Torre to San Diego. I think that's a really solid move by San Diego, or should I say all DFC.
So you don't have any risk for it. If he doesn't work out in 1 year, the hometown kid, you can get rid of him.
Yep.
I guess we'll end it with that. San Diego. Are you guys surprised at how shitty that team looks so far?
Yes, I was expecting them to take somebody from
on the expansion draft. They had quite the options.
Anyone.
They could have Brugman.
Yep.
Yeah, they decided instead of getting an Inter Miami player, even though they ended up getting Franco Negri, they ended up just taking CJ Dos Santos for 100 GAM, which was pretty weird.
Yeah.
Dion, are you putting all your chips in on San Diego?
Nah.
They're not gonna have an Atlanta expansion run.
No. I mean, could you imagine if they went on a run like St. Louis?
St. Louis is run. St. Louis's run was because they played in MLS Next Pro the year before, so all those players were already accustomed to the MLS travel and living in St. Louis. So they actually had an unfair advantage relative to all the other expansion teams because they actually had a team and basically all the motions to run a team in MLS next season.
But even then, still ending up in first place in the West Coast is still wild.
Well, I mean, that's to what Fabian's saying. That's similar to when Seattle joined the league in 2009, right? They were in USL or whatever it was called at the time. I don't know.
And Cincinnati also.
Well, Cincinnati too, but Seattle had the ownership group along with the players, right, to move up and make that kind of impact. But yeah, no, Fabian's 100% spot on.
Because you imagine bringing a DP and he doesn't speak English or he doesn't know anything about America, right? It's tough. So if you have a year ahead of time to get him ready for the big game, you're doing pretty well, I think.
Look,
so nobody thinks Sergio Ramos is going over there, or Kevin De Bruyne, like they keep saying.
Who knows?
If they get De Bruyne, it's a different outlet.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I know this isn't a unique take where the comparison to Aldi is right there with their logo, but like Aldi, you got to put in a quarter to get a cart, and then you'll get it back at the end. So we put a quarter in to get a player. We'll see what happens with Luca De La Torre, but I don't know. I think San Diego is probably really trying to hedge their bets on a good summer signing, like a lot of expansion teams can do. But I feel like it's a bit of a wash.
Well, I mean, San Diego can count on the excitement of a new club in the area to fill up the stadium.
And Chucky, right?
Chucky Lozano, I guess. I've never been big on Chucky.
I'm not too high on Chucky, to be honest.
Me either.
I don't think he's going to have that Vela effect that everyone thinks he's going to have. I just don't. I don't see it personally. I didn't really like his answers either on media day. He was just like, I'm here, you know.
Oh, that I haven't heard. What did he say?
He was just like not. To me, he wasn't a leader. He wasn't like what the first DP needs to be, in my opinion. And he was more. It looked more like, I'm here. You know, I'm excited for the right to dream. But it wasn't like I'm here to win trophies. We're gonna win them. It wasn't like it was as far as Laton as you can get.
I mean, he sees the roster.
Yeah, and that's who you're picking up. Higlink. I don't even know how to say him for Orlando City instead of a proven starter in MLS. I have no idea what they were thinking there.
Yeah, no, like, and they had, I don't know.
Like, when has the expansion draft ever been so good? Ever. That was my whole thing. You don't have to share the floor with anybody else. You literally have so many teams that now spend a lot more money than usual, and you take Hickling from Orlando City.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people thought that they would take Franco Negri, and they ended up getting him anyway.
Yeah, well, that was a good one, but like, I mean, shoot, go for something else. I mean, CJ Dos Santos, dude, I don't even know if that guy was starting ever.
He played one game. He was the backup.
I don't even know if he started for Inter Miami too. You know, like
he's the third string. He was the third string at some point because it was Drake Ustadi and then CJ Dos Santos.
Like,
so they
should have asked for Messi's right boot signed. Instead.
Yeah. Could have flipped it for more GAM.
Absolutely. You get way more GAM. Look, the way Chris Henderson's cooking, he'll give you 20 mil for it. All right. So I appreciate you guys joining me for today's episode. It was a blast. And I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to shout out where they can be found, to make sure that everybody follows. And before they do, please, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Dion, where can everybody find you? YouTube, Twitter, social medias, all that other good stuff.
Pretty much on everything Nerdy Soccer Guy, except for Instagram. It's just a 32 at the end, and it's all together like it is there on the screen.
There you go. Joe Shaw. If you haven't already, make sure you check out his Miami Fusion podcast. Should have been podcast of the year.
Yeah, so I did a little show called 25 for 25, the story of the Miami Fusion. From those who lived it, got nominated for Best International Football Soccer Podcast at the Soccer Content Awards in England. Flew to Liverpool for it. It was a great time. Got more stories I can't get into right now. But I rebranded last year. It's Humans United FC on your feed, on your Instagram, wherever you want to hang out. If you're on Twitter, I'm at Detox, DTALKS Joe. But yeah, I got something cooking. I'm recutting the Miami Fusion story, so it's chronological. It'll be called Once Upon a Time in South Florida. And I'm in conversations with a couple guys, Jim Rooney is one of them, on something maybe brand new coming your way not too long. So more to come on that. And I got to pass it over to Fabian because I'm a fanboy of Fabian's content online. So please do yourself a favor and follow him.
Yeah, the League's Cup commissioner.
Hey, I appreciate one day, hopefully. I really appreciate that. And where you can find me is this weekend on the Strip with the Truly in my hand. Come and say hi. If you're a Miami fan or America fan, we're just gonna be having a good time out there.
That's awesome. I'm jelly. I'm jelly. Just the fact that you're in Vegas, the fact that you're going to the game also. There's two stadiums that I'm dying to see. Well, three, I guess. Atlanta, the Benz. I'm dying to go there. I would love to see a game there. Vegas. I would love to go to Vegas. And then third, I gotta go to Jerry's World just because of the size of it.
Oh
Honestly,
man, I got super lucky this summer. I went to Jerry's World in a suite for $200 for the USA game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got so lucky. And
It's gotta be nice to be Fabian Ranke, man.
I know,
no,
right?
it was on StubHub. It wasn't even me. It was on StubHub, and I was like, "Yo, what?"
You're a fucking liar.
No, I swear to God, it was the craziest deal. And you know what the best part is? There was leftover beer in the fridge, so I grabbed like 8 of them.
Like, I'm telling you, I can't wait to hear what you just randomly stumble upon in Vegas. I swear to God, I wasn't hooked up. I paid for it. I swear I paid for it.
Hey, Lee's Commish has perks. I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Absolutely. I get you. Look, Garber's got his ear out. He knows who to support in the League Cup. All right. I appreciate you guys taking the time. If you haven't already, this is Battered MLS Fans. We do a show once, sometimes twice a week, and we usually have a panel of guests just talking and having fun, all things MLS. If you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I would love to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers before the season starts. That's the goal. I don't know if we'll get there. We're still about 100 off, but we'll try. And for those of you in the chat, we appreciate you hanging out with us for the last hour and 5 minutes. As always, without you guys, this show would not be as fun. So we appreciate you hanging out with us. And real quick, Mr. Krabs, Dion did not have a Metro Stars kit on. I think you're confusing him for Andrew. But now that you say it, I guess they do kind of look similar from the Designated Players podcast. Make sure you follow them also. He was on with me last week. Andrew Barnacle. Yeah, I believe was his full name, Designated Player. But I can see the similarity. I can see why Mr. Krabs was confused. But no, that is Dion, nerdy soccer guy, Atlanta guy. So make sure that you follow him. And like always, you guys are the best. Appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. And we'll be back next week. So until the next one, have a good one.